Welcome to Sex Afflictions and Porn Addictions, and I am your host, Craig Pera from themindfulhabit.com, broadcasting from beautiful Northern California. I am the founder of The Mindful Habit, the world's #1 at-home addiction program for men struggling with sex and porn addiction and their partners. I base this on the over 240 public, independent, verified, authenticated, real testimonials from real men and their wives. And this broadcast is to empower you to create healthy sexuality and a great life. We're going to broaden the scope here a little bit today, and this broadcast is for anyone who has ever struggled with mental health issues in their lives. We're going to talk about the 7 things that you must do, mandatory, to not suffer the wrath of a coronavirus mental health breakdown and come out of the corona crisis physically, mentally, and spiritually stronger, because it ain't gonna happen by accident. This shit is testing people in ways that they can't even imagine. Divorce is up in China for the people who are coming out of this crisis. They had to shut down limit the number of divorce applications that people could file because it is overwhelming the system. You may have seen in the news, child abuse is up. Domestic violence is up. Porn watching is up. Cam girl revenue is up. Escapism is up. Numbing out is up. Coping in unhealthy ways is up. People are freaking out. They are afraid, and some of them are losing their minds. And this is serious. Some of us in the world or in parts of the country are late to this game, but this is real, and it's scary. And we men do a shitty job managing fear. And while women may be more inclined to talk about it, we're all struggling. Just want to share with you a quick story that prompted this broadcast, this subject today. So I was watching a short news segment on men and women on the front lines, our first responders, surgeons, nurses, techs in healthcare. And I saw a picture of these rows of bodies in the hallway, right? All corona. I heard detailed descriptions of the sacrifices that these people are making. The grocery clerks who aren't going home to their families so as not to infect them and working crazy hours. And then I saw the ventilators, and I had an instant, mini panic attack reflecting my own respiratory issues, all self-inflicted, smoking heroin, cigarettes, occasional crack and meth, and all self-inflicted. Feels good, but it's still especially allergy season, it gets worse. And I felt this sense of overwhelm, this rat in a cage feeling, like I was trapped in a coffin. And there was this incredible, overwhelming urge to escape from that feeling. And I ask you, does that sound familiar to you? Have you experienced that feeling? Have you noticed that you are shorter temper? You're easily triggered. You're more angry. You're more afraid. And you're not alone. Science says, in a study in The Lancet, a prestigious medical journal, quarantine increases anger. It increases depression. It increases anxiety. It increases your insecurities, vulnerabilities. It increases PTSD symptoms. So many of my brothers are struggling with PTSD. And this is making it worse because we are afraid. So what I want to do today is I want to share with you what I've learned over a lifetime of failure, a lifetime of struggling with mental health issues and a past decade of doing a hell of a job, the best job that I've ever done, and now leading people all over the world, helping them grow, helping them be their best selves. We are in crisis. We need to come together, and there are certain things that you need to do if you want to avoid a coronavirus breakdown, a mental health shit show. If you want to come out of this mentally, physically, and spiritually stronger. This is what I have learned, and this is what I'm doing. I am going to come out of this mentally, physically, and spiritually stronger. I'm going to come out of this closer to Michelle. I'm going to come out of this closer with my kids, and I'm going to find opportunities to connect with them and continue to find opportunities to connect with them in different ways. I'm going to come out of this with a stronger business. I'm improving things that I've been wanting to improve for some time. This has accelerated some other plans that sat on the great idea pile, but haven't taken action. That's what I'm going to do. I am intentional. So here's what you need to do. Here's what you literally, like this list to me is mandatory. I don't know how you counterbalance your mental health issues without doing these things. And I just want to say a word about counterbalance. I love that word counterbalance. It's actually one of my favorite words. I have to counterbalance my crazy. The reason why that word is so impactful, because I used to live in this place where I had, with all my therapy and all my counseling, that I'd get to this place where I wouldn't be triggered. There's this universe, there's this place where I am never going to feel like a piece of shit again. I am never going to, feel like this profound sense of failure and overwhelm. And I have since learned that is the wrong goal. That is the wrong objective. I will feel low again. I have to counterbalance my crazy. That means I need to take actions to make sure I keep that crazy in check. I have to counterbalance the reality that I've struggled with depression. I have struggled with anxiety. I have struggled with ADD. I struggled with compulsive behavior my entire life. One doctor says I got the bipolar, another doctor doesn't. I got issues. I have mental health issues that demand that I counterbalance them in order to be the best man that I can possibly be for me and my family. So first, one of the first actions that you must take to avoid a coronavirus breakdown and come out of this stronger is you must practice rigorous self-care. Not just rigorous self-care rooted in love for self. And I'm going to make the self-care real easy. I break it up into my fundamental 5. Right, 5 things that you must do. This is like back east, we have this expression as a kid. When someone said something that was so obvious, 2 + 2 is 4, us mean kids would respond, duh, like, duh, of course 2 + 2 is 4, you dummy. Right? This is the duh. This is the obvious. And every time I teach this lesson, I'm like, I can't believe I'm teaching people this obvious. They're going to think I'm stupid. They're going to hate it. This lesson is always one of the more impactful lessons in my program around self-care. And I'm going to give you 5 areas that you should be focusing on. Your eating, your diet. What are you putting in your body? Are you honoring and respecting this vessel? Are you using this as an excuse to numb, cope, and escape and lose yourself in food? Eating. Sleeping. If you do not sleep well over time, you'll literally lose your mind. Sleeping is very, very important. Another easy one, but often overlooked, hydration. Another important aspect of self-care is, here it comes, drum roll please, the obvious, exercise. Most of your exercise routines are completely disrupted. You're not going to the gym, and now you've got to do it on your own. And there's no excuse. There's a million people on YouTube telling you how to exercise at home, and you will find someone with the slightest little idiot search that you connect with. And last but not least is mindfulness. Are you sitting and training your monkey mind by meditating, by downloading the app Headspace, by downloading the app Calm, and putting those earbuds on for 10 minutes a day while you train the monkey mind? Self-care is first. Number two is use this crisis as an opportunity to either discover your purpose or revisit your purpose. This is your why question, right? Why? Why are you listening to this podcast? Why do you want to be a better person? Why do you want to be mentally healthy? What is it that you want to accomplish? Not just what, but why. And science tells us that people who honor their purpose literally live longer. That means they resist disease better by simply having purpose. So take some time to reflect on the why questions and take those answers and hang them up in your bathroom, on your, in front of you, so you can have that regular connection to your purpose. Having a purpose is like a lighthouse, right? In the fog of war and the challenges and the fear and all the triggers and the poison that you're getting out there in the media, you've got this light that shines, and that light pulls you towards it like a moth to a flame, but in this case, a good way. So having that purpose is so important to help you counterbalance your crazy. Third, commit to connecting. The opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it is connection. And I'll just speak for us brothers, we tend to be really poor at it. Really, really poor at it. So be proactive in those connections. Reach out to friends. Schedule something regular with friends. If your friends haven't come up with the idea yet, do a little happy hour. Enjoy some coffee. I connected with my college roommates, and oh my God, we had the most amazing time. It was so much fun just seeing each other, reminiscing and laughing, and like, Craig, wow, big surprise that you'd end up where you are, working with people struggling with addiction. So we had a hell of a time. Okay, so commit to connecting. And number 4, we've talked about discovering your purpose, but for number 4 is you need to have goals that fuel your purpose. So this is important. You're not going to come out of coronavirus successfully if you're reactive. That's not what counterbalancing is. Counterbalancing is having goals, visible goals in your life that are pulling you towards something. And very specific with coronavirus, what specific goals do you have around either your fundamental 5, around exercise, around connecting, maybe or some relationship goals that you have? But I know that I am closer to doing a handstand than I have ever been. A week ago, I couldn't even get up. Now I can easily get up, and I can't stand there very long, and I got to lean against the door. But oh my God, I'm like almost 49 years old. It's awesome. It feels so good. When I started 3 weeks ago, I couldn't jump rope. Now I can jump rope 100 times and crisscross, boom, boom, like Rocky. Right? Those are 2 new skills, 2 goals that I had, and I'm going to get better at those goals. And the interesting thing about jump roping is I have learned that targets specifically the muscles that I need to target because of the herniated discs in my neck. So from Corona, I have a gift, right? I wouldn't have discovered this gift, this simple exercise. I've been struggling to find the right exercise, and here then I jump rope, boom. There it is. I found a gift. You need to find your gift and have clear goals that fuel your purpose. Number 5, there's so much that we have without. There's so much loss that so many of you are experiencing. Number 5 is practice gratitude. This crisis gives us an opportunity to reflect on what it is we do have. And every time I'm practicing mindfulness and I'm focusing on the breath, I am so grateful that I have the breath to focus on, because there are people right now, brothers and sisters, struggling. They would kill, maybe even cut off a few fingers to get that oxygen back in their lungs. So practice gratitude. What do you have in your life that you are grateful for? Write it down. Write 3 things down each day. And the next, this number 6 is, well, here, let me tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you why I think it's important. Number 6 is to create routines. In particular, my recommendation is bookend routines. A routine in the morning to get you started on the right foot, and a routine in the evening. What should that routine entail? It's what we talked about. It should entail self-care. It can entail you declaring your purpose. It can involve you connecting. These routines can be you moving forward in your goals that you have that fuel your purpose. These routines could include gratitude, writing down what you're grateful for, what you're grateful for. So create routines, structure and discipline, 2 words that I used to hate. I am like sometimes I have to stop and reflect that, hey, I've become the structured, disciplined guy. I have most of my adult life has been some rebellion against structure and discipline, whether that I was in my corporate stuffy career, smoking weed on the way to work, just rebelling against everything that was like me. So to be in a place where I've come to realize that, whoa, wait a minute. Structure and discipline isn't crushing my freedom. Structure and discipline has given me my freedom. It has given me the opportunity to counterbalance my crazy and live my best life. So here, last but not least, okay, and the order of priority is going to be different for everybody, okay? And I'm going to do a quick recap at the end on these 7 things that you need to do to avoid a coronavirus breakdown, live your best life, come out of this stronger mentally, physically, and spiritually. Last but not least is to be mindful of what media you are putting in your body and when. And when. I know how I feel, so I like to consume media from both sides of the political spectrum. I've always fashioned myself an independent, and I want to see, and I know that news is biased, so I want to see a broad spectrum of news. And when I go to the Drudge Report and you see a list of like horrors and society is breaking down, I've been watching like apocalyptic zombie movies my entire life. The sky is falling. It triggers the living shit out of me. I feel that fear, and I feel that decades of programming, numbing, coping, and escaping from that fear. I feel that so strongly and so acutely. So it is so important that you are mindful of what you are putting in your body and when. I do not want you not to be informed. One bit of advice I will recommend that has served me well is listen to the doctors, not necessarily the politicians, okay? That advice has served me well. The other tip that I have is that I consume news in the morning and I consume it around dinner time. I do not consume it late at night. The reason why I don't consume it late at night, because it is too triggering and it impacts self-care, particularly sleep. So be mindful of what you're putting into your body and when. And I'm referring to media. So let's review the 7 actions that you must take if you want to avoid a coronavirus breakdown or a mental health shit show. So you come out of the coronavirus crisis mentally, physically, and spiritually stronger. Number 1, self-care rooted in self-love. Honor your fundamental 5: eating, sleeping, drinking, exercising, and practicing mindfulness. Number 2, find your purpose and post that purpose everywhere. You need the why is the fuel that drives results. What's your why? Declare it, post it so you can be remembered of it when you are down, when you are low. Number 3, commit to connecting. The opposite of addiction isn't sobriety, it's connection. And this is an isolating situation that we got going on. We're social distancing. We're not going out. Be specific and connect with friends that so desperately want to hear from you. Think of what you're doing for them. Right? Think of this connection as an act of service because it is. Number 4, have clear goals that fuel your purpose. And by clear goals, I mean clear, specific, intentional, in writing, smart goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, a few of them. So you've got this beacon, you've got this light that's moving you towards something. You've got to be moving towards something, and goals are a critical way to do that. My jump rope and my handstand has brought so much joy and this feelings of success in my life. What are yours? Number 5 is to practice gratitude. There is so much that we don't have, but if you're listening to this podcast, I know there is so much that you do have. Celebrate that. Honor that, respect that, and revisit that regularly. Practice gratitude. Number 6, to implement, to operationalize everything that we talked about. Create bookend routines. Create bookend routines. So important to get your day started right and ending right. So have a bookend routine in the morning and have a routine in the evening. They're very specific series of actions that you perform that allow you to practice gratitude, that allow you to revisit your goals, that compel you to connect, that remind you of your purpose, to practice self-care. Bookend routines are so important. Structure and discipline is freedom. Not the other way around. Structure and discipline is freedom, not the other way around. And last but not least, in this clickbait culture that we live in this, do you want to get clicks? You prey on people's fear. You want to get clicks, you prey on people's fear. That's what they're doing. Be aware of it. Be mindful of the media that you're putting in your body. And when the 24-hour news cycle is poison, it is absolutely poison. Step away from it and notice the anxiety that you feel when you step away from it. At least that's what people tell me that they experience, because they're conditioned to that news is doing something for them. That bad habit is serving a purpose. We're going to talk about that in another podcast coming up. So those are the 7 ways to avoid a coronavirus shit show. I hope you found this podcast useful. Thank you so much for listening. Commercial break right now. So a couple things that we've done to ethically respond to the coronavirus, and because I have an online at-home addiction program, we have reduced the self-study program from $4.99 down to $99. We knocked 80% off the self-study program, and you can access that on the website and enter the coupon code coronavirus. So if you enter the coupon code coronavirus in the self-study, you'll get that 80% discount. And if you need more support, if you want more structure and you're interested in learning more about my powerful group coaching program, we are offering scholarships and discounts off its regular price of $19.97 for that intensive 6-month training. If you have any questions, reach out. My support will take care of you at 1-877-769-3790. That number is on the website, www.themindfulhabit.com. own this so it doesn't own you. Embrace your power of choice and feed the right wolf inside you. Peace and love. See you next time. Thanks for listening.